we are live.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let me move myself. The whole point of wearing this shirt.
Yes. And we're back after quite a hiatus, a holiday break.
3 weeks, right?
Yeah. And I just got my voice back, so perfectly.
Oh, nice.
Perfectly. So
So
yeah.
I wonder, you were typing fine, and I'm like, yeah, that's why we don't do voice calls, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I apologize. I've still got 4 more chapters
Oh,
of the audiobook to go. Yeah, my voice gave out shortly.
So the book was that good, huh?
So yeah, it was good. And plus, you got to do the Nephirite voices and stuff.
geez,
So shades of Cookie Monster. So with a sore throat, it's not going to happen.
Or it works perfectly.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay,
Or it
you
helps.
said sore throat, not like gravelly throat, right? Okay.
Yeah. So look forward to that. It's building to quite a showdown, so it should be fun. But yeah, I just haven't been able to physically do it. It just like coughing fits and everything.
Exhausting.
Yeah. It's really,
dark symmetry.
yes, right. This is exactly what
You got to downgrade all electronics to steam tubes.
Yes, it's exactly what was preventing me. But yeah, we'll get on that. And so yeah, I haven't done the last weekly was 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
So yeah, didn't do. Last week just couldn't make that happen, and Matt and I had a huge marathon at late December, like a 3-hour live stream, because I was doing it from home, and Matt's doing it from home, and it's just remote.
So it was a giant game of chicken where neither of you.
Yes, right. Yeah. Who
Yeah.
wants to?
Who's going to tap out first?
Yes,
Nobody.
So a big long end of the year conversation. Yeah, we're just trying to, and it just kept snowballing because we're touching on everything that was going on throughout 2023, and there were so many shenanigans, starting with OGL.
Yep.
So
Which I'm
many
sure that,
shenanigans.
speaking of OGL, that people have forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I found out
Oh.
January 27th,
Yes.
the anniversary of D&D.
Oh, that's the actual date.
That's-
Oh, wow. So
I will be absent from the internet.
Yes, you're right.
Because
Right. Good choice. Good
nerds
choice.
are going to be insufferable.
Yeah. So we'll see, and we'll talk a little bit about that because there was someone online that did this insane, formerly known as Twitter thread about what this means, the kind of the end of 5e, what that brings. And I don't know, and a lot of people disagreed. A lot of kind of other writers and peers, not really historians. This guy's a little bit more of a historian. Not a lot of people agreed, but I think something amazing could have happened during these 10 years, and it just
5e?
didn't. Yeah, 5e, and it just didn't.
5e's been around for 10 years?
Yeah. 2014 was the starter set.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
isn't that amazing? The 2015 was the player's handbook and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So they got that. They did that. So it's 10 years this year. So that means 20% of D&D has been 5e.
Wow.
That's depressing. It's like, come on, guys, let's move on.
Well,
We're in a new era now. Can't we?
know.
We're going to be punished, I think, in this new era. So we'll see.
Is that any different from usual?
That's true. So, did you bring back anything that has been sitting in North America?
I had to bring back another. I brought back a third suitcase.
Oh, nice.
That's how much stuff I brought back, right? I was worried, is this third suitcase going to be over the weight limit?
Right.
Let's see. The things I brought back, in addition to a lot of pins, I brought back the Alien RPG starter box set, the Destroyer World box set, the Colonial Marines handbook, copies of Aegon and Thirsty Sword Lesbians, and the expansion book that I've been wanting to bring back, the Iron Sworn, Starforged.
Oh, Starforged, yeah.
Stuff.
Nice.
The Cloud Empress, ecological science fantasy based on Mothership stuff. What else? Oh, not everything. There's still more stuff, but I felt bad. That was 5.5 years worth of stuff. I got home, my parents and brother are just yeah, your crap's upstairs, and I'm like, oh, you've got storage tubs of stuff that I've sent home. I feel kind of bad.
Right. Yeah.
So,
but just think about how much that would have cost, in additional shipping to actually get that to Japan. That would have been insane. It probably would have doubled the price of.
It probably would have, right? So yeah, I'm gonna try and not send any more stuff to my parents, just because who knows when I'll be able to get it.
Right.
So I'm gonna try and do more do I really need that physical book?
Right.
How about the PDF?
You're falling right into Wizards of the Coast clutches.
No, I'm not. Right? Because they're dead to me, right?
Right.
So one of the PDFs that I think just showed up was the Forbidden Psalm End Times Edition stuff. May have gone out to backer kit, which is why I brought your books back.
Oh, cool. Okay. Cool. Good. Yeah. We gotta play some of that.
We gotta play anything.
You gotta play something. Yeah, we get playing. We gotta make this year full of full of games. Yeah, because stop talking, start doing. Yes. Well, this is the beginning of the year. This better not be another 2016 where
years have no meaning for me.
Where it was just all bad news, RIP, RIP, because we're going to start off with some bad news this time. So
I'm ready.
Not fun. All right, but Orcus. Orcus is a Spartacus. No, Orcus. That's right. There's been a lot of mystery around. People never are in the chat at the same time, so we're assuming they have sock accounts and they're just multiple characters.
Well, you know what? Unless people get rude, it just looks like there's more people.
Right. Yeah, that's right. So keep those sock accounts going. Yeah. So good to see everybody in the chat. Miguel is here. Nice. And Rob, nice to see you, Rob. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes. Never forget the OGL. Yeah, right. People need to be constantly reminded.
And never forget that the OGL was intended to make a walled garden for D&D content, right?
Right.
That's the express purpose of the OGL. You don't need one.
Right. Wow. Oh, and Orcus says he's 4 days older than D&D.
Ooh.
So everyone's going to be celebrating... Wow, yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot of time.
It is.
Oh, man.
Can't we just push it into a geriatric home by now?
Yeah, right. Well, that's what we're going to be doing, I think, in our golden years. All right, so let's get started for this week. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, so we're starting off, sadly, with the passing of Bryan Ansell and Jennell Jaquays, and then moving into nonsense with a Halo war game.
Okay.
The new year and new Magic the Gathering AI art.
So continued nonsense.
Yes, and a continued pledge by Wizards of the Coast that they are not going to use AI-generated art. Okay. And the end of the Golden Age. So there was a post by... one of the authors that's kind of done history work of D&D saying it's over. We were witness to it, and it is done. This kind of I would say probably a second golden age. I wouldn't say this was a first. Yeah, this was maybe a silver age. But let's start with all the bad news, and I hope this doesn't continue throughout the year, because we're getting to that point where a lot of the creators, if any ill health befalls some of the original creators, then we're going to be seeing more and more. And it's, very sad. Yeah, so very unfortunate. So let's start with the grandfather of Warhammer. So Bryan Ansell has passed. He took Games Workshop from basically a general hobby game retailer into the modern age of manufacturing. So they started off, basically Games Workshop was a games workshop, which is where they just basically did backgammon and checkerboards and everything. And they were an importer, distributor, and retailer of board games and RPGs, and they became a manufacturer of miniature war games. And so he was the co-author of the first edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Okay.
And basically, it was just, we're making all these great miniatures. And so basically, also the founder of Citadel Miniatures. So the collaboration, he had a miniatures company called, which then became Citadel Miniatures, working with Steve Jackson and Ian Livingston at Games Workshop. And they set up manufacturing. And the rules for fantasy battles were because we want something to do. We want something. It's not just for D&D. It's not just for. So here's something to do with all these miniatures, and the ideas that they originally had, I wish still existed. I wish we're still part of the whole thing, but unfortunately, we lost Bryan at age 68 on December 30th of last year. And the quote from his family: "He passed away peacefully at home this morning, surrounded by family." That was from their shared Instagram account. And so that's Citadel Miniatures quickly became the most profitable part of Games Workshop, and that kind of freed up Jackson and Livingston to work on the fighting fantasy game books. Yep. And then things went from there. But the other interesting thing is, although he didn't contribute to the original Rogue Trader, a lot of the ideas from Rogue Trader came from his Laserburn, his 1980 Laserburn game that he co-authored with Halliwell. And so the power armor, bolt guns, techno-feudalism all kind of went into the 40K setting, and that was originally created by them. So he sold his holdings in Games Workshop in 1991, and set up another separate minis manufacturer, Wargames Foundry, as a kind of retirement project. And he's been, up until his death, he was a very active member of the Oldhammer community. So he never left the hobby, and I think continued to inspire and keep people thinking in those older ways that he had a big part of. So yeah, it's very sad. I just started reading the Dice Men, the kind of history of Games Workshop, and yeah, he's a big part of that. As soon as they started to really take off, and I love that. I think that it's worth the price of that book just to see that original Games Workshop logo. Have you seen that?
I have not.
It's a bootleg. It's a bootleg Mickey Mouse, kind of a stoned Mickey Mouse in a circle, and he's just saying in lowercase letters "Games?" ? That's that's their logo. Wow. So yeah, we'll have to have that as a graphic at some point. It's a thing of beauty. They should go back to that. Actually, I think that would represent.
Now that Steamboat Willie's in the public domain.
That's right. Yeah, it's all up for grabs. And another piece of sad news: we've been posting the GoFundMe link for the later half of last year for Jennell Jaquays, and unfortunately, she has passed away. Also at the age of 68, as battling a long-term battle with Guillain-Barré syndrome, and her partner posted very touching on Blue Sky, a very touching picture of holding hands and saying that her heart stopped and she's passed. And we've talked many times about her career, but she worked for TSR, Judges Guild, Chaosium, but also EA and id Software. So worked with not only a lot of tabletop roleplay, but Quake and Age of Empires, and was also the co-director of the Transgender Human Rights Institute that helped with a lot of legislation for transgender rights. So a major figure, and there's a lot of really touching comments below this post. One was, "Our condolences go out to Jennell and her family. The industry lost a legend today." And then people are saying her Savage Frontier is one of the best roleplay books I've ever read. Oh, wow. Jennell Jaquays is one of the true giants in our hobby and an inspiration. She was the only trans person in the Academy of Adventure Gaming and Arts and Design. So you got your work cut out for you. Number two. All right. So that's from the Origin Awards, for the Origin Awards, the Game Arts and Design Hall of Fame, and one more. Her campaign source book and catacomb guide book taught me how to run a game. When I was a teenager growing up in a small town in the Bible Belt, no one else to guide me. I still keep it on my shelf, and I wish I had the opportunity to thank her in person for helping light the way to the hobby I've enjoyed for decades. So really touching stuff. Nice. Good stuff. So let's stop this, okay? Everybody, take your vitamins. Get some sleep. Get some sleep, and don't leave this mortal coil yet. We need you. Especially this year, this unfortunate year of
we're already calling it unfortunate. The unfortunate year of the dragon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to less consequential things, but a little bit surprising. So I'm looking forward to the release, the epic release that's coming, the kind of small scale Mantic release. They're doing their Warpath game, but probably after that, and hopefully they're getting it out of the way, because after that they're going to do a Halo miniatures game. Okay. So they've already slated this coming into September, so September of this year, so giving us plenty of time to be excited. So they're partnering with 343 Industries, so you can play Master Chief and all your little Spartan super soldiers. Yeah, sure. Okay. And basically I think they're trying to recreate what they did with multiplayer. So you can play like Red versus Blue. Okay. your machinima fantasies have all come true on the tabletop. So a brand new Halo combat miniatures game. They're going to go with the 40 millimeter scale for the miniatures, which was
Inquisitor scale.
Yeah, something. Wow. The same thing that Star Wars did with Shatterpoint, and I think they're having some success with that.
Okay, I didn't realize Shatterpoint was 40 millimeter. Okay.
Yeah, so if they're going to do the thing I'm worried about is if they're going to do the same thing as Shatterpoint, that bigger scale makes bigger plastic, and if they're doing terrain, then the price point is going to be just that much higher. So we'll see. But so bringing the Halo multiplayer to life. So this is for tabletop newcomers and veterans. And the encouraging thing about it, like I think a lot of the IPs, licensed IP games that Mantic has done, they go directly to retail. So the way that they're partnering, the deal they work out, they're not going to beg and have their hands out on on crowdfunding, they're just going to trust that the IP is popular and make a good game. So we're going to get a preview of this March 2024, and it's going to be a thrilling and competitive game. So we'll see. Some of their Mantic's previous IP games, they have a Hellboy Dungeon Crawler, a Walking Dead Miniatures game, Umbrella Academy board game, and also a upcoming Worms board game based on the PC game.
Okay.
So they've got a really weird variety of license. I mean, I guess that people go to Free League and they go to Games Workshop and then they stop by Mantic and say, "This is what we got left," because it's a real strange combination of.
You
IPs.
mean like the people with the IP? They
They were shopping them around. They're like, "Oh, let's. We got a couple left. Let's hit Mantic."
Well, like I guess related but different news story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who's looking for someone to produce games?
Oh no.
Chick-fil-A.
Ouch! Wow.
Chick-fil-A. Oh my. Yeah. So hey, maybe they'll go to Mantic Games.
Yes, right.
The little article I read was mostly they said they were looking for like mobile games, video games, but they're open to like all games.
Wow.
Right? And how the would you even make a Chick-fil-A game? Apart from like rampant transphobia and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
Could build, that would be Powered by the Apocalypse.
Why'd you go with that one? If anything, I am offended.
No, I was trying to find the most opposite.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
I was trying to make the joke the most opposite. But we had that. Didn't we have that weird Burger King? Was that Burger King that had the tabletop?
Wendy's.
Right?
Yeah,
and had that weird tabletop.
Right, and when you showed, hey, as long as you've got the money behind it, Critical Role will stand anything.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They'll advertise it. Yes, and so this is also following a bunch of board game translations of kind of combat stuff. So we've had the Rainbow Siege 6 shooter and Call of Duty board games, which are just a lot of that same kind of generic stuff on a tabletop. So we'll see. We'll see what they'll do with this. It's interesting because the Spartan soldiers are exactly the same. Like they're not much of a variety, it's pretty generic and strange. And I don't even know if giving it more detail at 40 millimeter is going to make the models that much more interesting because they're just okay. And Halo really hasn't. It's kind of fallen off, like the sequels and things that they've been doing.
Maybe that's why they kind of.
Yeah, it was cheap. It was cheap. But anyhow, so we've got a quote here from John Friend, the head of Halo and Xbox Consumer Products. "We are thrilled to team up with Mantic to bring the Halo tabletop to fans. Mantic is a leader in tabletop gaming, and the quality and experience show through in all of their work. So they're excited, in this case, for the passion of the Halo franchise and for bringing Halo gameplay to the tabletop in an incredibly authentic way." So we'll see how that goes. It's an odd... Yeah.
Okay. I don't play video games.
Mm-hmm.
My exposure to the Halo franchise is only Master Chief right now. So I know nothing about it.
Right.
Worst thing for me here is like another another set of Wargame rules to check out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And I wonder what they're going to do, like to set it apart or to give it a feel, to give it a feel like the game. So
don't know because I can't say what the game's feel is, but I would kind of be interested if they almost went like not the opposite, but obviously, okay, this is a Halo game, so it's got to feel like Halo, whatever that means, to like Halo players.
Mm-hmm.
But I would almost wonder if Mantic or in the Microsoft whatever could do like a fairly generic set of rules. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think the only things that really set it apart, there's a kind of an odd variety of weapons, and then like it became a standard thing where we've got a shield and then health. So you have to deplete a shield before you're doing damage to health. So that's probably going to be a mechanic, and I guess like running backwards away from things or like circle strafing. I don't know how you build that in, but yeah, it was one of those like kind of babies first-person shooters because it was only controller-based. For the longest time, it wasn't on PC, so you could only use a controller, which is very inexact for first-person shooters. But I think it was the setting and the story that first made it, kind of popular, and then the multiplayer. The multiplayer, when you couldn't do LAN parties and stuff, you could play multiplayer Halo, and it had developed its own culture and everything. And then, became that series. Rooster Teeth did that Red versus Blue. So there's some humor in it and some, so early days of, kind of Xbox gaming. It was,
maybe that's what the thing is going to be like. It's multiplayer deathmatch kind of tabletop game.
Yeah, and if they do,
I don't know. Like, from a consumer standpoint, okay, that would be kind of refreshing because maybe all you would have to do is buy, like, one or two, a very small number of figures for each side, right? I don't know if that's appealing from a retail point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that would be offset the 40 millimeter thing. Cool, it's 40 millimeter, it's big, you only need to buy one.
Right.
Or, like, one for each thing, and it's going to be, like, red, blue, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and because it's a license, though, it's probably not going to go into their vault, so there won't be like printable versions of it because it's it's a licensed, it's something they can lose, so they can't keep that forever.
Yeah, like I don't see them releasing STLs of that.
Right. So that's going to kind of affect it, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know if that IP is popular enough, but it matches a generic war game, so we'll see. And it never ends. So I guess let's do a little not the best.
Oh yeah.
Not the best.
There we go. So all activity by Wizards of the Coast and their parent company Hasbro is going to be not the best, I think, for the rest of the year. So Wizards of the Coast denies using AI art in the new Magic the Gathering promotional image, which they've already been caught doing with the Tomb Raider. They did a generic. So they just got to quit going to Fiverr or whatever these scumbags are that they have doing their promotional stuff. Yeah. And they claim the art was created by humans, and then later said, "Oh, actually it wasn't. Let's step back." And they get caught again. So there was a promotional image with 5 cards from some new series, and it had kind of this retro, kind of Edison tube, vacuum tube, kind of like
How long until before we have vacuum punk?
Yeah, right.
Vacuum punk. Right. And if we don't, I'm coining it now. Mine.
Nice. So they were saying already after they got caught that they asked their artists to refrain from using AI generated tools, but when they shared this image on Twitter, it was positively shocking how good these lands look in a retro frame was the quote on their Twitter post. And then people started zooming in and looking at the gauges and the bulbs, and nothing was lining up. And it just like, obviously there's all kinds of artifacts. People are getting really good at finding this. You don't even need to use software to find this stuff. It just like,
no, when you're that blatant about it.
Yeah, the AI just kind of gives up after a while. It's like, and so on and so forth.
Just pretend there's more hash marks after this game. Yeah.
So they immediately denied the accusations from Twitter. We understand the confusion by fans given the style being different from the card art. What? But we stand by our previous statement that this art was created by humans and not AI. So they already caught the in the Bigsby Presents for D&D, The Glory of the Giants, that false positive they had with the Dwarf Fighter from the New Player's Handbook. And
a false positive. I don't think.
Yeah, that was. This, right? Yeah, that would. Did you? Yeah, there was kind of a little bit of a witch hunt that they went after a specific artist, and they're saying we put this in this website, and it said 98 point something percent that it's, and it wasn't. They already said no. I definitely don't do this. I have this long career of working with Wizards. And then the people that kind of started the little witch hunt had to back down and apologize, just because the tools for determining this stuff aren't very good. Because they put the cover of the red box in the same software, and they said 96.4% chance or possibility. It's like, well, there was no AI when this was made, so not good. Yes. So then they had to update. So they posted an update on generative AI tools and magic. This was January 7th. Thanks to our diligent community who pointed out a series of recent marketing images may have included elements of generative AI. We are rethinking our process of how to work with our vendors and our marketing creatives, like actually get better ones. I don't know. They're just, obviously they don't pay well, so they're getting really bottom of the barrel.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
People that are just want minimum effort. So they have already made clear. So we have already made clear that we require artists, writers, and creatives contributing to Magic the Trading Card Game to refrain from using generative art. We're supporting the amazing human ingenuity that is important to Magic.
That ingenuity being the creation of AI scraping tools.
Right, yes. I don't know. So yeah, we're trying to get a better understanding of how the creative process works. And they're already saying blah, blah, blah. There's AI tools in Photoshop, so you can't blame us. But when it's so blatant and that doesn't, and you can tell it's going to be very clear, I think, very soon what tools people are using. And even right now, the generative stuff, you can see this is Mid-Journey, because you kind of can see the sets that they're trained on. This is Mid-Journey, this is DALL-E, this is, so you're starting to really see a style develop from these generative things. But they're blaming, Photoshop's got this, and our aim is always to come down on the side of human-made and artists. So let's
then pay them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
Swap, yeah.
Yeah, pay them for their time, and you won't get that cheap ass turnaround stuff. And so of course we got more AI stuff with the New York Times lawsuit. So they're trying to hold OpenAI and Microsoft responsible for billions of dollars in unlawful copying of the New York Times. They found out, I don't know if they somehow, maybe through some part of the legal process, they found out that the OpenAI used millions of articles from the New York Times to train and create their large language models. And the fact that the New York Times is going after them is because in this data set, the New York Times stuff was rated as a high value. And so they specifically found in documents that they were saying this is uniquely valuable work, and they're just going to hold them responsible for stealing all of that. Yeah, just outright stealing that. And I think OpenAI, I saw a statement, I don't know if it was related to this lawsuit, but they said basically AI wouldn't exist without copyright theft. I'm like, well, then it shouldn't exist, right? That's not a hard thing to say. But OpenAI, of course, is surprised and disappointed by this lawsuit. We're hopeful.
Did an AI write that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the AI said, the AI, asked for opinion, the AI said.
I'm going to stop using that. LLM, because it's not fucking intelligent.
Right.
LLM.
Yeah. The LLM said that we hope to find a mutually beneficial way to work together. So we'll steal
stuff.
That
mutually beneficial way is you fuck off forever.
Yeah, right. No, we'll steal your stuff, and then we'll pay you whatever the judge says to pay you, and then we'll move on with our
if the judge says to pay you before you get bankrupt.
Yeah, right. So so they weighted the publisher's content very, very high. So about 210,000 unique New York Times URLs were used, which amounted to about 1% of the total data set, 1.23% of the total data set. So yeah, it's unfortunate. So this just keeps going on, and this is followed. This follows 17 authors, including George R.R. Martin and John Grisham, that have gone after them for the same.
So if George R.R. Martin gets in an LLM, does that mean the LLM just will never finish writing articles?
Yeah, right. That's like,
Zing! Sorry.
It never finishes the book series. And unfortunately, not only did Magic get caught in their promotional materials, but Wacom, the tablet people, did their little dragon, Year of the Dragon little promo art, and obviously it was AI generated. They just put in Chinese dragon, and so that's very weird and funny.
Think about how much skill it took to write that prompt to get exactly the image they wanted.
They had to say red Chinese dragon. Yeah, right. That took a. So yeah, they did the same stupid thing. And what's hysterical is they sell tools to artists. So if they're going to use AI to promote tools that they're going to sell to artists, what is the point? I mean,
saving money.
Yeah, I guess it's just. Everything is text prompt. So it's a real betrayal. Yeah, a brand like Wacom, it feels like a betrayal because their main audience is artists.
I mean, come on, let's at least go back to the tried and true contests where please make this thing for us, and then we'll select it and use it in our article, right? We're not going to pay you anything for it, right? But you'll have the privilege of winning our contest, right? That at least feels more honest than this. No, it doesn't. Right?
Yes.
I just like it better than this AI LLM nonsense.
Yeah, and another thing that came out of this just recently, someone released a screenshot from a Discord conversation with one of the creators of Midjourney. And they were talking to, I think it was a Magic the Gathering card artist that said, ha, you'll find this very funny. The first data set we trained our AI on was all Magic the Gathering art. Like, we just sucked up your entire, because the card art's available digitally out there. We just sucked it up, and that was the first thing. Isn't that funny? And the artist was supposed to laugh or something. I don't know. But
can that laugh come in the form of a bullet?
We'll see. Yes. So so Wacom is giving up things. Not only Wacom, but so things AI has affected other types of art processes, especially contests. So there was an annual self-published fantasy blog off, which was shut down entirely when last year's winner admitted under duress that they used AI tools.
What do they do? Waterboard the person?
I don't know. I don't know what under duress. Threat of suspension of their social media. So we just have to keep this up, like this anti-AI pressure. The only thing that's going to do, if you got to embarrass these companies, threaten their, get their shareholders panicking, and that's the only way. Otherwise, they're just going to do this. They're just very slowly. This will become standard operating procedure, which we've all last year reported. It just keeps coming up. These companies are so lazy. Just got to make it a PR nightmare for them to use this stuff. Yep. So that's not going to end, and I'm sure Wizards is not going to stop either. Regardless of how many statements they release, they can't stop not paying enough. But let's move on to a battleground, a fight that has already happened. So if I'm sure you missed the formerly known as Twitter drama.
Oh, I do, yeah.
But we had some of that right at the end of the year. So a D&D historian has said the golden age of TTRPGs is dead. It's over.
TTRPGs or D&D specifically?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's I think the mistake he makes is he conflates the two.
Well, okay, you know what? As much as I hate that, that's what WotC and Hasbro want to go for, right? So I think it can be kind of excused a little bit. Right?
Yes. So this is Ben Riggs we're talking about, and January 3rd, he released just a long Twitter thread talking about kind of what he wanted to say, like what we're going to be facing this year is. In his opinion, the realization that the golden age is over. So the fracturing of the community in the wake of the OGL debacle has created this. And so Ben Riggs has worked for Geek and Sundry and Gizmodo as a writer, and also published a really interesting book about kind of the handover of Dungeons and Dragons from TSR to Wizards of the Coast called "Slaying the Dragon: A Secret History of Dungeons and Dragons." So he's very D&D centric, and I think a lot of his thinking comes from that, and having a bigger historical context. I think he wants to kind of make some sense of this thing is repeating itself, history in some sense is repeating itself, but there's too many other factors now, I think, to simplify it like this, and I think a lot of people are kind of arguing that. Right. So a community, the 5e community, which created multiple businesses which people could make their living from, including third-party content creators, streamers, and so the thing about everything that was created under 5e is it all shared customers. It was very portable, and if you were playing 5e, you could just move between these worlds and systems and everything. And what's going to happen after this fracturing with all of these new games that are kind of based on 5e or whatever 5e is going to become, you won't be able to do that. Things will no longer be portable because everyone's making their own little changes to that recipe. Okay,
I didn't read this article, but right off the bat, I'm going to disagree because look at the OSR.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like how many almost identical or very similar games exist. And I mean, okay, they're not, maybe material isn't instantly portable, but I mean, all you gotta do is tweak a few numbers. So right off the bat, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, because they have a lot of the same, a lot of the things that are similar enough stats and things that
class,
make it fun.
Yes, race, right, stat, skill, D20 roll, right? That's all pretty interchangeable. I mean, with a little work.
Yes. So what Riggs is calling 6th edition, he says is going to be kind of the end of this, because 6th edition is brought on, or the OGL basically brought on Kobold Press's Tales of the Valiant and Matt Colville's MCDM, which both grossed millions in crowdfunding. But the first prediction he makes about this is that's the biggest numbers they're going to see. Because the community is now fractured, everything is going to be in decline. No one is going to have. So when everyone was supporting 5e, especially Matt Colville, was having some really big success with doing stuff. The stuff that he did, and he was basically an evangelist of 5e, and probably brought a lot of people into playing that game and using his systems and rules and things, his stronghold rules and stuff that he had come up with. But now that is going to be over, and everyone's going to pitch their own little thing. So the fracturing in the not portable way that things are going to be made is going to be different. But Linda Kodega immediately kind of spoke up about this and criticized, of course, like you did, Riggs's D&D centric point of view, saying D&D is barely responsible for ushering in a golden age of D&D, much less the golden age of TTRPGs. And another journalist, Christian Hoffer, suggested that Critical Role has dropped D&D. So
have they?
Yeah. So they're moving on to their own system.
Candela Obscura, which is marginal, just like
right, and
okay.
Daggerheart,
their original system, just like that sci-fi one shot was an original system.
Yeah, right.
Right. Okay, sure.
Right. Yes. So and also Riggs made the comment that it was kind of truly inconceivable that 6th edition will have an OGL or put its rules in the Creative Commons, but we've seen that that's what I think Wizards knows that they have to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But what he's basing this on is the idea that TSR failed in the same way because they split their fan base by creating too many settings and subsystems in which you could play D&D. So immediately you would do these releases, and if you weren't playing Greyhawk or if you weren't playing Forgotten Realms, or you would just not even buy those books. So that was kind of the and everyone kind of acknowledges, that was their mistake, aside from their crazy financing. But so and the founder of Paizo, Lisa Stevens, also says that the splitting of the customer base is the number one reason why TSR went out of business. So kind of acknowledged. But so 2010 to 2021. They're also saying I think this is Matt Colville. It was only a golden age for investors and D&D owners. It wasn't a golden age for everyone. And he also suggested that Riggs he started with this conclusion, then kind of tried to work backwards to make it work. So Colville says there is not now, nor will there ever be any degree. And I can't say it with the enthusiasm that he probably would have said this, but any degree or quality of success we could have that wouldn't cause those people to predict our imminent doom or downfall. Okay. And basically, he's saying that we're successful, so people are just calling our death day. And so it was a really long thread. But I do think that he is kind of trying to point to something that we aren't ever going to see again. I mean, I think this 5e thing and people being like, okay, well, let's do it for 5e. I mean, Symborum and the Lord of the Rings role-playing game, and there's so many things that they just, okay, we got to do it in 5e. There's so many. I
hope that fucking dies.
Right, but the thing is, I mean, I think it's good. I mean, and it'll offer a bigger variety of experience, a much, you can play the kind of game you want to play. But at the same time, having that common language, everybody having that common system, we didn't even take full advantage of that. I don't think that the hobby really enjoyed what would have been the full benefit of that, is everyone being able to iterate on the rules and have a system that everyone understood how to play and could share in kind of, contributing to it. It didn't ever quite happen, and we had it, and it's gone. It's never going to exist again. So just, I don't know, because when you have a dominant system like that, looking up rules and kind of trying to really figure out how the system plays and the system works and what the kind of overall consensus of how to read rules are, I think that's an interesting part of it, and it's an interesting discussion that can be ongoing. And we're not going to have that anymore. People are going to move into their camps and just say, I play this, I don't care,
Well, we already kind of have that.
Huh? Yeah.
No, yeah.
But it was, it's interesting because, we've already seen the things, Paizo getting rid of, there's a couple of the rules changes already that have made it so there is kind of no going backwards, the two listings. So alignment is gone in Pathfinder, and then also the systems moving away from D20, because Daggerfall's going to be D12s, and there's going to be a lot of D6s, and it's madness.
Damn it.
Yes.
As someone who said they'll look at systems as long as they're not 5e compatible, right? I guess I have to. I have to go look at that, I guess. Right. Anyway, but I mean, I don't know. The whole argument kind of seems to me to be kind of like an analogy, or basically saying, gee, I wish we had one of those big box stores again where we could just all shop at the same fucking place. And they're okay, it was really convenient. You always knew, I guess, what you were getting, and everyone can kind of go there. But it's oh, gee, I wish we had that monopoly again in favor of all these little specialty stores. Yeah. Right? Is sure. If you were an investor in that store, right? If you really like that store, yes, I guess this is a negative. But this is going to hopefully allow the smaller games to do the thing that they do better than the big old generic game. Right?
Yeah, and not feel like something you have to explain to somebody. Okay, this is the way that this isn't 5e. No one's going to have that reference anymore. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it'll be an interesting time. Ability scores and alignments are going away, and the dice are getting wacky. So and they're talking about right before the sale to Wizards of the Coast, TSR, their more recent release with, I guess, the Birthright campaign, only sold 7,000 copies.
Wow.
They were in such decline, they just could not get these things off the shelf. And so it's interesting because now that there isn't going to be kind of, this YouTuber community promoting 5e. Everyone is going to be talking about a lot of multiple types of game systems and things. And so you'll be exposed to a lot of different things, but I wonder what that's going to do. I wonder what that's going to do to the hobby. If it's going to, people are going to find what they want, or some people just be like too many choices, because that's why people have brand loyalty.
Yeah.
So you go into a store and just like, I like the blue one,
Yeah.
So being, affecting that might be interesting. So a couple of the signs that Riggs also said is, so the frequency of $1 million TTRPG Kickstarters will decrease. Attendance at major gaming conventions will plateau. And TTRPGs overall will become less interesting, less exciting, and less creative.
Well, I agree with the first 2 points, and I don't know what ass he pulled that third point out of, right? Because Jesus Christ. Right?
Right. Yeah, but I think, in trying to tap into, instead of actually being creative in the game design space, just trying to make something that's popular, I think that would be less creative.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
trying to second guess customers. Yeah.
But would it be any less interesting or innovative than trying to shovel whatever thing you have into the 5e rule set?
Right. Yeah, so it's like that. You don't know what you got until it's gone.
Or you don't know what you got if you stay in your little walled garden.
Right, that's true too. But think of the amazing creativity like under Soviet rule in techno music and science fiction from Russia in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, because that was all mainstream.
but there's that weird restriction and that weird this is the way does make people rebel against it and do interesting things. So we don't even have that.
What
now.
you're advocating for is like a resurgence of the dominance of D&D.
Yes, a Soviet style,
as like a totalitarian state.
Yes.
That then helps. Okay.
Yes.
Only because I read it recently. You're talking God Emperor of Doom.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
the enforced stagnation for thousands of years, so that when the Emperor finally dies, people are kind of impelled and encouraged to go out and fracture and okay,
yes, that's exactly
and D&D 6th edition is willing to be that tyrant. Yes, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting year. Yes, as we enter the year.
Interesting couple of millennia.
Yeah, right.
One,
yeah, right. So this upcoming year of the dragon should be quite a thing. So we'll keep talking about what everyone is talking about. Yes, and so sorry to start off on such a downer. That was a rough way to start.
The news, yeah.
Yes, but it's all happening. All right, so that'll do it for this week.
Yep.
So where can people find you?
Blue Sky and Instagram at HiveMind, HYVEMYND, where I'm mostly posting in progress pictures of little 6mm tanks.
Nice.
So, how about you?
And I am I'm not. I've been off
out of
it for a bit, but I'm still trying to do my cartoon live stream, and we just finished Deathmatch Island. We did our third session of Deathmatch Island. So if you want to, that live stream is on the channel. If you want to hear the exciting, it's like a secret vote. A lot of stuff is determined because it's a reality show, and there's a secret vote that goes on. So things go unexpected directions, but it was fun. It was really, really a fun game to play, and it was one of those games where you're making a roll, but you only make one roll per situation. You decide an approach, and then what you're good at, or what you're bad at, or what you want to make happen, and then you just got to try to do it. And so that was really fun. Very different from the games we played before.
Nice.
And then also you have the camera, like the interview after something happens. What did this look like? How did you feel when this was going on? Yeah, you get that interview.
It sucked.
But and next is Blade Runner. So Case File 2, not this weekend, but next weekend. Sorry. So I'll remind you again when that gets started. So we'll do Case File 2 with a third player. So we're gonna add an additional player, and hopefully it won't make things even more insane.
Another wrench in the mix.
Yeah, Case File number 2 is already insane enough. So we'll see if I can actually keep this going. And if you like what we're doing here at the Weekly, please consider becoming a weekling.
Yes, the strongest of all supporters.
At patreon.com/upturntable. You can tell us what you'd like to see more of, and just kind of send us some links to news stories you think is interesting about tabletop, and we will cover that on the Weekly. And as well as all the other stuff that's going on the channel, the actual plays, the audiobooks when they get finished, and lore videos, all that kind of good stuff. And we did
be a better word than that.
Yeah, right. Yes, and we did the 12 games of Christmas too. We opened a bunch of games from the end of that were from the 2023 throughout the year, and Starforged was one of the ones that we looked at. And so thank you for joining us. And we'll do this again next week. So Upturn Table on all social media, and we'll see you next time.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right. Well, it's good to be back. Yeah, this is good to see Chris. And thank you, Matt. Matt really helped over December. Chris was gone for quite a while, so it was good to have a co-host. I really appreciate that, Matt. That was nice. Oh, Matt was late. That's why there was no Matt in the box. Nice. Oh yeah. I should bug Chris to do that. Yeah, kind of go through stuff. But yeah, we heard a lot of the Alien stuff, so we got to play some Alien because Chris has got a lot of that and has run it both. Yeah, both Chris and I've run Alien before, so it's fun. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Matt was saying Jaquays in your dungeon, very influential. Yeah, the comments were so touching. I just tried to pick out a few, but there were a lot of really touching comments from her passing. So yeah, let's not do that this year. I don't want another 2016 where you're just like, what who died this week. That was a brutal year. Miguel is saying 40 millimeter is not right for Halo. Spartans will be 40 millimeter to show they're larger than everybody else. I see. So just the scale of I see what they're saying, that the Spartans are going to be a bigger scale. Interesting. We still have no idea who is who. Everybody, get your sock accounts ready. That's how we can get viewership up. That's right. Did they accuse Matt from streaming from a massage parlor? Matt's going to design the game for Chick-fil-A. I'm too busy with all your devil worship. Oh, you need to be a good Christian and put a pickle on top. Man, that's weird that they're just like openly looking for game development. Oh man, that's right. But you couldn't play the game on Sundays. That's right. All Chick-fil-A would be offline. Oh, the Halo show. Yeah, the Halo show had the Master Chief character, and immediately took his helmet off, and yeah, that was bad. I watched the first episode and then just watched people tear it apart for the rest. It was a pretty short series, but it got Miguel just got that. Yep. Master Chief was in the show. He was that weird guy that was in I'd seen him in a couple other things. I don't think the casting choice was great. Vacuum Punk. That's right. Chris claimed Vacuum Punk. Miguel said, I read online that Amazon recalled the latest Wizards Lord of the Rings themes due to lousy sales. Wow. That's really bad news. Yeah, they shouldn't, especially because they were having big luck with those IPs. I think the 40K one did really well. The Forgotten Realms ones did well. I don't think they had great cards in them. I remember hearing Magic players say that there's no great cards in any of these sets, but the sales were decent just because of the IP. Wow, 30% returns on the Lord of the Rings. Don't mess with the Lord of the Rings fandom. They're not gonna. That's right. Yeah, Orcus said, you don't just accidentally trip on the AI generation button. Wizard said, oops, I don't know how that happened. Yeah, I really hope OpenAI, they just get punished. But we saw this with YouTube, when like YouTube was just, people were just putting Hollywood movies and TV shows and stuff on YouTube, and then that huge line, I think it was the recording industry too, the music industry, just lined up to sue them, and they just slowly placated all of Hollywood and the recording industry until their content ID stuff worked satisfactorily enough. And they also got that ruling that they're a platform, not a publisher. And I don't know. Oh yeah, Matt was Matt sent that link as well. Yeah, Discord just laid off. It sounded like everybody's going to get some layoffs for the new year. They weren't tasteless enough to do it before Christmas, but a lot of these tech companies are going to do it in the new year. Yeah, right. Miguel said, of course. Wizards needs AI. They fired 15% of their staff. Yeah, and I even heard like BlackRock. Like there were some surprising layoffs in January. That kind of evil asset management and the people that are buying up every empty house that was foreclosed on after the pandemic. BlackRock laid people off, so no one is doing particularly well, even the scumbags. And Matt is saying, the golden age for D&D is over, not TTRPGs in general. Yeah, and I think that's what Riggs like is very D&D based, and acknowledges the stuff that was created at the same time or almost the same time, and Chaosium and everybody that was part of the early process, but is I think just trying to connect that TSR story, the collapse of TSR, back to what might be happening by breaking the player base. Oh yeah, that's right. But I didn't want to drag that on too long, that conversation. But I really think that there's too many different factors now than what happened in the late 90s with TSR. I mean, they didn't have any sort of digital, like there's things are moving in very different ways, and the ancillary or the third parties able to generate money off of Dungeons and Dragons. It's a totally different thing than it used to be, and so there's a lot of different factors that it's because I think he was focusing mainly on saying TTRPGs are it's a tricky business, it's difficult, and they had mass adoption and mass appeal with 5e, like I guess TSR had with D&D, and that coming to an end is going to be the a big force of change. But I don't know. I think the way people are going to play, and I think Felix had the best kind of opinion about this, just saying it's just going to create a new genre of gameplay. It's just if they're going to keep everything digital, put it in their own VTT. People, I don't know if they're still going to call that D&D. They may just call it something else, but it's not going to be recognizable as what we were doing with 5e. So we'll see. Oh, and Orcus is saying, so essentially he's talking about D&D, but he made the mistake of trying to use the BS quote, a rising tide, in regards to D&D and the other RPGs in the hobby. The thing he also didn't acknowledge was that the golden age of TSR died in the 90s, not the hobby. Oh, right. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade took off. Yeah. Colville, nice guy, tries hard, but I have zero interest in his game. Yeah, and he was like, his reply to that stuff had some arrogance, and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna come at the king? you better get your shot." Like he was just saying that everybody wants to bring us down because we're so awesome. I mean, but that crowdfunding was insane. That's an insane amount of money to publish a different version of 5e. That's a lot of money. Yes. Oh, yeah. And Orcus said this, also referring to the Colville game. Yeah, I have no interest in funding an unfinished game that is two years out from its full release. Yes. Yeah, and that's becoming like in video game development and a lot of stuff in movie production and stuff. We're seeing this where we're getting exposed to things so early, and we're like going through the whole process. Like, why do people know so intimately that whatever the Marvels or Blue Beetle or whatever had these extensive reshoots and all this? Why do people are so involved in production schedules and caring so much about how these things? It just like you judge the final product, but now we have to be involved with Patreon and with the way a lot of indie people are doing things where they're kind of like you can see the behind the scenes. There's so much of that now. I think that's a little bit a little too much of how the sausage is made, and kind of spoiling. Just like, just show us the game and then we'll decide if we're gonna play it or not. We don't want to be involved. But I think that's worked though, especially for Colville. That's worked to get a lot of rabid followers and get people funding things, because you're gonna be getting these updates. You'll be getting PDF version 1.2.5 and people enjoying that aspect of it. But I think that's too much, because I forget what it was. There was something like that I remember. Just like it made the whole thing disappointing, and then when it's finally finished, you're like, oh right, okay, well, I'm kind of tired of that now. And I've played a lot of broken versions of it, so I don't think I even care that it's working completely right now. So Matt's saying, my God, this is the last year brought so many top 10 games that aren't D&D videos by D&D lifer channels. Yeah. Top 10 games that aren't D&D. Yeah, is that still going to be a thing? All those blogs that are like the best fantasy games that aren't D&D. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I wonder. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, and Matt rated Deathmatch Island. So, feel and originality 9, rules 7, a lot of fun, but they built too many if this then that rules into it. Yeah. I removed several rules for ease of running. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, because I resisted, even though you shared the PDF, man, I resisted like looking too far into it. I was just looking at graphics, what graphics I could harvest from the PDF for the video. But yeah, so I'm interested to see stuff that we didn't run into. Oh, they did a free preview. Oh, cool. Nice. Oh, Rob, how's it going? I'm still on the fence about whether to get into second edition. Am I late? Now take your time. Take your time, Rob. We don't have to rush things. First edition seems one step too far. Nice. Yes. Beck me. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what they oh yeah, Rob likes Castles and Crusades. But there's a bit of a thing of that too. Social media kind of kills all the fun. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it would be very hard. There are very few games that you couldn't have fun with, with the right group. It doesn't have to be the perfect game, and you can just enjoy it because if that's the hobby that everyone's interested in. But now we have this like hive mind of judgment of everything. Like, this is a good game. This is a fascist game. This is this is all the everything comes prejudged. So you have this weird shading that I don't like. I don't think games are allowed to find audiences and grow in that same way before they get judged by the community or get embattled on social media. Yeah, let's hope people still rally around the tabletop and paper RPG forum. Yes, Rob, I agree. I hope people are going to meet face to face and do this stuff, because if it all starts to move, if everyone gets so antisocial and so neurotic that they have to be able to like turn their camera off and run away from game sessions, I don't think the hobby's going to do well. Whatever that thing is that Wizards of the Coast will be doing is going to be weird. Oh yeah, Matt's a big fan of Black Sword Hack. Yes, but those D20s, I can't believe it. I guess to just differentiate themselves, a 2D12 system, I think, is the Dagger Heart. I can't wait to see what a anodyne piece of garbage Dagger Heart's gonna be. The second failure by the Critical Role publisher. Miguel said there will always be a core. It's the people that arrived as part of the RPG fad. During the lockdowns, the ones that will go away. Yeah. The last in, first out. I think you're right, Miguel. Oh, nice. Yeah, Black Sword Hack is getting good ratings. Well, that's good. Yeah, because I think Matt's working on something for that. So perfect. Excellent. If D&D is going to go through a VTT, says Miguel, and all digital, I'll go back to 3, 3.5, even 4. Yeah. Something that, I mean, yeah, it's just weird. And I think it was sometime in the previous weeks we were talking about how weird that is. Oh yeah, that was the kind of that part of the end of the year spiel about how an endless version, eternal D&D is going to be weird because you're going to be in the middle of a campaign and the rules will have changed so many times. And we don't call them fighters anymore. We call them, men of contest. It's like, well, I don't know. It's going to get really weird depending on like how many weird or how many changes they're going to allow this endless version to have. Rob said 3.5 is still a bit crunchy for me, but the magic, etc. is much better. Yes. 3.5 for his son and friends by request, and had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, teens in a high crunch phase. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I still keep going back to that Rick Priestley interview where he said that they added artificial complexity to Warhammer Fantasy Battles and just what they were doing at Games Workshop, because I thought that would make it better for older gamers, like to keep the people that have been with them for a while, keep adding more complexity, more crunch, make it more complex. But it's actually the younger people getting into it that is the attractive part of it. The people that have been playing long enough to just like, look, can we just streamline this and not have to do all this nonsense anymore? I don't want to have to remember all these rules. They kind of went opposite. And Rob says, Jeremy can tell you how our RuneQuest campaign ended because people just didn't want to. Yeah, that's right. Nobody bought the book. Nobody. Yeah, that was Rob had to do quite a juggling. Like for every character, it was like had to explain how to do everything with the progression of the type of character. There was a lot of heavy lifting for Rob on that part. Yeah, the runes. Yes. Oh, cool. Oh, Matt's already started testing the Black Sword this weekend. Unleash a dreaded Selenipede on the players. Giant centipede meets salt vampire. Ooh, nice. Oh, I hope I get to draw that. That's the best part. Thank you. That was good thinking, Matt. If I'm not playing it, then I can draw it because then you're not spoiling anything. So that's great. Very, very good. Oh, that's right. Pendragon. Yeah, the starter set is out. Is the core book out? That's right. Passions and none of the runes. That's right. Friends don't let friends play 4th edition. Oh, Matt. That's Matt's advice. Oh, that's right. Did you use on their gender? I did, because I'm always going to be assuming their gender. Yes, that's right. Now I just was thinking of the old white box Men in Magic thing. So defaulted to that. Yeah, it's impossible anymore. See, and that's the thing. I think what we're going to see is people trying to create attractive, and which we've already seen. I think Modifius's Dreams and Machines is a bland, flavorless gray thing that doesn't. The setting is so uncompelling because it's supposed to be no colonizer, no. It's going to be, it's free of so many of the, baggage of the fantasy setting that it's just weird and boring. And I think we're going to see a lot of that as people are trying to create attractive things, and once it's just been so diluted that there's no feel to it, it's just like it can be whatever you want. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, nice. Okay, I'll let you know, Matt. You need a lot of work. I'll do an entire monster manual for you, Matt. Let's do this. Oh, so starter set for Pendragon. Oh, so cool. So Orcus just finished the starter set campaign. Had a good time, but I have notes. I'm curious about what they changed, or if there is any, if there is anything that they tried to. Yeah, I wonder. That's right. Yeah, because I think they tried to do the gender thing, right? Where knights can be male, female, whatever. They tried to open it up in Pendragon. I don't know if that was always the thing, though. Yeah. Yeah, right. Miguel is doing the list. Yeah, we're going to get, let's try to be as inoffensive as possible. And yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be flavorless. It's going to have no tone, no setting. I don't know what we're gonna be in for. But it's good to be back to our regular thing. So yeah, Chris is back at work, so hopefully we'll get these get the weeklies looking the same. So I'm not sure, I don't know the details yet, but we may be changing offices as well, so the background and things may change, and the acoustics. That's the thing I'm worried about. If we're going to the other space that I'm thinking about, it's got really high ceilings, so we may have to do something acoustically to not make it sound strange. But yeah, there may be some changes coming up this year, which is good. I mean, that'll be a variety. So a better play space, a better space for playing and working and stuff, and then also for recording. We'll have some probably more than twice the space, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's if that's going to happen or what's going on. So yeah, there may be some changes that I'll warn you about. So, and it may be a little disruptive to recording. We may have some pretty odd weeks while we get things moved around. So some changes coming to the weekly during this year, but I'm not sure yet what the kind of time frame is for that. So we'll see. Nice. Oh, so Orcus is saying the mass combat portion of the new Pendragon is a little wonky. The new setting will be Eternal Prom. That's right. It's bullies. All of the your enemies are bullies, and you're just trying to get to prom. That's what everybody wants. Orcus said about Pendragon, it's great, but it's 100% railroad for the early years of Arthur. If you can accept that, then you can enjoy it. Interesting. Yeah, right. I think that's going to be a question that I don't think people are going to be able to answer very well. How can you have an interesting TTRPG setting without morally questionable bad guys? Well, there's been so much. I mean, it just in like popular film and stuff, it's like Disney is having a real problem making villains anymore. Everyone has to be sympathetic and it's weird. Yeah, it's very weird. They haven't figured out how to do the so they haven't figured out how to do the tell a story with a villain. They keep trying with a lot of the superhero stuff, with your kind of villain as your main character, or just scumbags as your main character. They haven't been able to do that very well. Orcus says, I'd rather play that bed and breakfast RPG than that new Modivia setting. Yeah, that was really disappointing. I was getting spammed like crazy with the playtesting rules and stuff for that game, and every time I looked at it, I was like, this is so... what is going on? Yeah, it's so bland. There's nothing that hooks you at all. It's just like the only hook is, I'm not offended. So if that's your hook, if it's shocking to you that something doesn't push one of your buttons, then I guess that's how they're gonna sell stuff from now on. Oh, I wasn't triggered. I guess I'll try this game. Nice. Oh, is there? Matt, yes. Yeah, so I'll look forward. I'll bug you, Matt, about that. I think I'm up to full strength now, so I can get to the drawing board. If I can trust Wacom anymore to not use any drawings I do with their hardware. Yeah, I can't believe that's just going to continue. And I think a lot of companies with this, going back to the AI generative art stuff, I think people are going to just hope that they're going to wait until people stop complaining and then just think they got it past us. I saw too the SAG-AFTRA just made a crap deal for voiceover actors for video game industry. There's some company that they're going to work with to capture voices, to do that AI voice digitizing to be used for games. So they came up with some compensation scheme, but once they've got your voice in that system, I forget what the name of the company was, but as soon as they have your voice, then they never have to pay you again, so it better be a pretty big fee that they pay you to capture your voice forever. So yeah, a lot of the voice actors, the one World of Warcraft guy said the agreement was just garbage. So game voice acting is getting really screwed by their union. So you're just going to be able to capture someone's voice, pay them for that recording session, or whatever the fee schedule is, and then just thanks. Well, long after you're dead, you're going to be narrating our games. Nice. Yeah, right. The GW experience. Yeah, I want to get further through that. I love that. I'll bring that for next week. I'll do a graphic of that. But that original hand drawn Games Workshop logo is the best. That little sleazy looking Mickey Mouse. That pretty much sums them up. They should have stuck with that. Yeah, and Fantasy is launched. The Old World is back with those 2 sets. I think, though, they're not going to support things very well. And how can they support all these games now? Because now they have Plastic Horse Heresy, they have Epic is back, and then they've got a new edition of Age of Sigmar coming out this year, and then they have to keep also supporting 40K, plus their box games, Necromunda, and all of their other box games. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Something's got to give. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. And they're doing that thing. Well, there was an apology. I think Miguel probably saw that too. The apology that Games Workshop said, so sorry, the software and our robots and everything. It's been a bumpy transition with the new website and our automated fulfillment. I think that's in North America. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and things will be back to normal soon. But yeah, don't hold your breath. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not good. Not many miniatures, and the prices are brutal. Yeah, the starter sets are not good, and the army books and stuff are that juicy, like $80. Yeah, prices. I don't think they. I think we're Australia basically in Games Workshop's mind, because when you look at what the British pound prices are and you convert that, it's not even close to what they're charging. And no Skaven, right? No Skaven, because they're part of Age of Sigmar, so they're just going to give you the bullshit rules, like they did with those indexes for 8th edition. And you get one rule set, and it's not going to get updated or balanced, and you can't really play it. And then that's it. Yeah, so they have, 7 or whatever armies that they're supposedly going to support. So I'm curious if it's probably just going to be kind of what they did with these starter sets. There'll be like a couple new models for each of the armies, but then they're just going to rely on reissuing old plastic. Yeah, right, exactly. It's not, if there's no Skaven, then it's not Warhammer Fantasy. It's weird. I think they just kind of rewound it. They found a part of the storyline in the Old World where they went back before discoveries of like Lustria or whatever. They're gonna kind of avoid stuff, and it's just based on when stuff is doing well in Age of Sigmar. They don't want to duplicate it, so they don't want to undermine those sales. So they just didn't include things. The only thing they could include with well, I guess they did do a new Tomb Kings as well, didn't they? The bone. What is that? Whatever the Bone Reapers are, whatever they are, in Age of Sigmar, they did do a new Tomb Kings, but that was the only faction that they could release without that problem. Yeah, it's Miguel said it's bittersweet. I'm not seeing many old timers complain. Oh wow, still going all in. That's depressing. Yeah, that's too bad. But yeah, they just want to play that brand game. They want to play the Warhammer brand. Yeah, I think that branding, I mean, that's a huge thing to overcome, I think, is Games Workshop in wargaming. They're too far ahead of anybody. There's no second place. I mean, like, Mantic and some of the other companies are such a distant second that it's not even. I guess kind of like 5th edition was, because 4th edition was split with Paizo, like almost 50-50, and now it's like 80-20. But yeah, we will see. It's just too bad. I can't even get excited about new plastic from Games Workshop because they're doing stuff in such low quantities now. There's not going to be any overstock or any discounters or online retailers. Nobody's going to ship to Japan, so you're paying Japanese prices. And that's not very interesting. Yeah. Buy the rules and 3D print everything. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I'm excited to see what Mantic does with their epic scale. I'll definitely be interested in that campaign, and I know because they own that too, that they're going to support it a lot with their vault and stuff. Maybe terrain, and there'll be all kinds of fun stuff that they'll give STLs for. So I hope that's a thing. I hope Epic Warpath does well. But yeah, I don't know. I think the rules will be fun and interesting, an interesting change. And I like the small scale, so maybe that'll help get Chris into it. We'll see. Well, so good, yeah, so good to catch up with you guys. Yeah, it's weird. I wonder what is going to happen. There's going to be some YouTubers that have pretty big success from 5e. They're going to have to make a decision about what they're going to cover, and because once things go, the rules go behind the curtain, the rules go into that digital mode where are the YouTubers really going to cover like the digital updates after that stuff has launched, and like, oh, they just changed this and now this is -1. Yeah, I wonder if that's going to become a thing that people eagerly follow, or if it's people are just going to kind of drift away once it's all locked up, and if they can even figure out how to print books anymore. Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, so I'll be in touch, Matt, and getting things ready for next weekend, not this weekend. Next weekend's Blade Runner should be fun. We'll do a session 0 and probably like a first scene. I think next weekend that'll probably be the best way to get into it. But yes, we'll see. Oh, some having some success with DCC. Yeah, I follow a couple of channels. There's Wasabi Burger, and there's a couple of YouTubers. I really like their DCC coverage. It's really fun, and they're really passionate about that system, and talking about their favorite funnels or their favorite adventures. And yeah, I think that's they're doing a good job as ambassadors. Matt's saying, I just hate how the D&D YouTubers talk like none of us knew about other games. It's like, let me show you, let me expose you to the world. There's a world beyond. Yeah, that's very annoying. Yeah, that was I still, one of the most insulting things. Somebody with that kind of weird entitlement was John Lasseter, when Disney started to dub the Studio Ghibli movies in America, and hired like very inappropriate, just known actors to do dubbing for anime, which is a whole weird different aesthetic because of the mouth movement thing. And there was some film festival or award ceremony where John Lasseter was like, Miyazaki-san, the world, Miyazaki-san. Like he was introducing the Hayao Miyazaki to the world, a guy that had like already like 40 year career of insane success, like basically the Ghibli being like the Disney Studios basically of Japan, and was acting like, I mean, people had known since the 70s about these anime movies, and they'd become as standard, but because they were going through Disney, he had that horrible, that was just so insulting, but very entitled, like he was discovering this amazing Japanese director and exposing him to the world. I guess to Disney fans, he should have just said, weird Disney adults, here's a Japanese guy that does good movies. Nice. Oh yeah, check that out. Yeah, the actual play. I want to listen at least to the end of our last session to kind of remember remember how you guys left feeling about everything, and then we'll kind of carry that forward. And because it'll have been probably some months of regular, duty work to see how your feelings have changed and kind of what's going on. It's going to be a brain buster, I think. I'm really curious the kind of wrench that Terry's going to throw into things, because I think it'll be interesting, because now that there's 3 of you, you don't have to solo locations. Like, you can go in groups of 2. Like, you can double up on locations to be a little bit safer. So I'm curious what kind of effect that's going to have. I don't think the difference between 2 and 3 isn't huge. I think there's only a few events that happen a little sooner. 4 players, things happen really fast in that kind of timetable that each of the case files gives you. So you just have a couple of things that happen a little bit earlier to kind of move you along. So the clock is a little bit shorter, but not like remarkably so. 4 players, though, yeah, you gotta be quick. So no more new players. And they really say these case files, the pre-written adventures for Blade Runner, they say max 4 players, because it's kind of it has a pace to it that if you get too many people in there, I think it can screw it up. Yes, that's how you mess them up. That's how you get people killed. That's how Matt gets a good officer killed. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that works. If you want to do that, Matt, I think that'll work perfectly with the beginning of the case file. If you want to become a Wallace Corporation stalker, I think that works. Nice. Oh yeah, looking forward to it. That's how things get interesting, when people that are really good at investigation but no weapon skills go into dangerous situations. That's when it goes good. All right. Yeah. Stuff can get pretty deadly too. Yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so I'll get all that stuff into Foundry, and I gotta find some good. I'm gonna find some good atmospheric music too, because I've figured out how to export stuff into that WebM format, so I get super compressed video, so we can still have some smoke and fog and rain and stuff on the different levels. It won't look as good as Alchemy, but it'll be some sort of mood. And so looking forward to it. All right, so let's do this again next week. So yeah, we'll be back to our regular schedule. And thanks everybody for hanging out. It was good fun. Yeah, it was good to see you, Rob. We got to catch up. We should grab a beer sometime. Get some face-to-face time. That would be great. All right, so take care, everybody, and we'll do this again next week. So Happy New Year, and see you soon. Goodbye.